everybody? Welcome back to Koyomimonogatari. Tonight on episode 10 of Koyomimonogatari. So, let me already say real quick, this is the last half episode we're going to be doing because episode 11 and 12 I've been told I should watch together. So, that's cool. This is the last little halfy half that we're doing. So yeah, I guess that's all I have to say on that point. Let me just, boom, right into it. Episode 9 comments. So, last episode was our donut episode. With Shinobu, and it's crazy how like the crazy thing to me is that it's as simple as a donut, but then if you actually try to look at it, it's like, wait a second, maybe we why do we take such random things and then we spin it into crazy analogies, you know? That's like what the show does constantly. So it's like I've been sitting here for 20 minutes just staring at the word donut and being like, what does a donut represent? They get baked in an oven, you know, and just losing it. But yeah, let's just kind of go top to bottom, and see how it goes. So donuts for you, very, very true. I think one thing with the timeline that's interesting is that this is the first Koyomi right after Otori ends, and you know, of course, Otori ending is a big deal because you know that's the whole Nadeko arc, right? So, I mean, and we even Shinobu I think even brought up Shinobu even brought up Sengoku in the episode, so it's got, and the whole love can turn into a poison thing. It's almost like, I feel like, I mean, you could even maybe try to say that because at the beginning Shinobu's like, yo, these donuts might be poisoned, let me be your poison taster. Or well, Araragi says be my poison taster, and she's like, oh, you're such a cruel master. But yeah, so she becomes a poison taster, eats a donut, and then and so it's the poison is described as a love that goes bad because it's that's what happened with Nadeko, and that was poisonous, and that's kind of how it gets described later. So it's a malformed love is hidden in the donut, and that's what we're worried about. So she becomes a poison taster, right? But then, what does she do? In an expression of her own love for Araragi, she hides a donut within a donut, and if we wanted to make it as simple as love equals poison, then she poisoned the donut because she put love in the donut. But I don't think we're trying to even make it that simple, right? Because it's specifically the kind of poison can be a love that gets bad, right? To the degree, I mean, obviously, just go freaking rewatch Otori. That's literally love going bad right there. Is Nadeko 101. So for Shinobu to do the same thing that she was worried about is interesting, and it makes me think okay, this was good though, right? Because it was as described by Hanakawa, this was Shinobu being selfless, being very sweet, very wholesome, very nice. Yeah, whereas with Nadeko, I would say that there was no selflessness. It was a completely selfish way to deflect all of the emotions she didn't want to deal with and all the things she didn't want to deal with by attaching to Araragi, you know, in that way. So, I mean, I might try to just use the selfish / selfless distinction as a way to separate between a normal love and a poisonous love. But it's interesting to see that either way, love makes its way into the donut, or we're worried about love being in the donut, but then Shinobu puts love in the donut, but this time it's not poisoned. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Shinobu. This is the Shinobu parable of being look, love isn't always bad. I love you, and so I'm gonna hide a donut in the donut for you, so you get to eat all the donuts. It's gonna be so yummy and tasty. But yeah, so it's it doesn't have to be bad. That could be kind of what Shinobu's trying to say. While also being clear and distinguishing that it very well can be bad with Sengoku. There it is. Okay. Had to run around my words and make the sentence twice as verbose as it had to be, but we made it. We made it to the point. What is this one piece of hair doing? He really think he Araragi for real? What? Hey, you see that guy? Whoa. Okay, let's actually focus. I think it's nicer and more selfless of her that Shinobu knew at first that he had all four. Shinobu's also too proud to admit defeat and tell him that she's letting him have them all, so she did in a very sneaky way. Oh yeah, 100%. And there's another comment. Yeah, I agree that Shinobu's doing it out of selflessness. The thing that I would be worried about specifically is if Araragi were to twist Shinobu's message into thinking that oh, I'm doing it out of selflessness too. I'd be worried that I wouldn't want to give Araragi tools to rationalize his own selfish, self-martyrdom behavior by pretending and deceiving himself into thinking it's selflessness as per Shinobu. That's what I would be worried about, right? Because I think this is a very true statement that like Araragi is not doing it out of selflessness like Shinobu, because he's doing it out of selfishness. Well, it's like, but it's like, man, when you really get into it, like, it's so hard to be like selfishly selfless or like selflessly selfish, you know? Like trying to distinguish between selfishness and selflessness gets really hard, especially if you're trying to do like, well, I'm selfless, but really I'm being selfish in my selflessness. Like that just sounds agonizing to even think about, right? So the lines get kind of blurry for me, but I do agree with that. I'm worried about giving Araragi tools for self-deception, right? That's yeah. I love these lists, by the way. No issue on the on comments are always being there. Like I appreciate it. You can see I literally just like let me jump back to when there was one so I can like look at it again. It's still helpful. I appreciate it. So the streetlights come on at night kind of thing with the Shinobu Taurus. This I found freaking nuts, by the way. Okay, so apparently the Kizu scene with meeting Kiss Shot's completely different in the anime, like designed differently. And in the novel, Araragi finds Kiss Shot under a streetlight, and so this whole line of the streetlights come on at night so you don't lose sight of the road or so you don't encounter aberrations, and then she says, streetlights, thou sayest. That's literally her saying like, well, it didn't work. Like, oh, the streetlights come on so you don't encounter aberrations. Bro, I'm an aberration and you literally met me when I was under a streetlight. You know? So that's, I mean, funny. Like it brings out the idea and then immediately kneecaps it, you know? I love this connection as well. That's like, who's to say your life can't still throw darkness at you? Your illuminated path to go odd, i.e. the flower, which is you're walking along and then somewhere you're some and then suddenly you're somewhere else. So it's like, yeah, I could be walking on a lit road, but all of a sudden it's dark. You know, I mean, you don't even have to say this because this isn't even what happened, but like you could even say like the street light goes out, right? But in this case, it's like the street light just didn't matter because Shinobu or like Kiss Shot was just there anyways, right? And even more than just there, but like actually spotlighted, right? An unveil of darkness before Araragi's path. That's just fire. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Night darkness, symbol of oddities such as vampires and Tsukihi, very true. Secrecy, negotiation, love, sounds like Koyomimonogatari. Wait, Koi? Which one's freaking Koi? Koyomi, Koi. Hitagi, end. Oh, okay. Yeah, but Koyomi, Koi, Monogatari, I still don't remember these, bro. Okay, Trust and Taurus being combined is interesting, and because it's right here of like, Taurus trust, Taurus sounds like trust, boom, boom, boom. So, I mean, you could say like, oh, within, like, the donut Taurus is trust, within the donut Taurus of trust is love. Love is within trust. Trust creates love. Trust can be the package, the USB, what is it called? Post office gives you a package and inside is love. That's the Taurus. Okay, let's lock in. Okay, I got it. Yeah. So, and then this last thing of the darkness, these things are never extinguished. In fact, extinguishment creates dark and darkness, and yet. That's literally to say that it's like, because I mean that's true. You can't get rid of dark, or you can't get rid of dark. Darkness is a thing. You use a light and then it goes away, but you can turn the light off and darkness will appear again, right? Like it's always kind of there. It's just either suppressed or not suppressed, you know? Like the only way to get rid of all darkness would be to have like perma light, just light everywhere. But like lights can be extinguished, but you can't extinguish darkness, which is literally just what they're saying. But like that point, to bring up that point's really crazy. I mean, it's almost to say like, you can't, like, I don't know, if you want to say like darkness is synonymous with oddities, which I think is a very fair thing to say, then it's like saying you can't just extinguish oddities, right? Like you can have enough light that you don't deal with them very often, but even then, even if you're walking along with street lights, like they can still show up, you know? Which is literally what happens, and then it's exactly the Senjuga horror thing, right? So that's, I mean, there's like almost a, I don't know, I feel like there could be like a level of like, what's the point or whatever that can come out of that for Araragi, where it's like, if you can't defeat them, then why fight against them? Kind of deal a little bit like Sisyphus grind set for Araragi. Holy. And then yes, the best YouTube emoji reel. The loved ones do stuff to you don't even end up noticing. It's very real. Yeah, and that's 100% the point. I think it's like it's almost a funny distinction to try to make of like you don't even end up noticing, where like has Araragi ever saved someone in a way that they don't know that they got saved? You know, because I feel like he's always showing up and like in their face and like figuring out and like getting beat up. Like that's all, at least in the way that the story's told to us. Like the forefront of many of his hijinks are him getting beat up, and we're seeing him like save people, as opposed to doing that undercover, right? It's almost even funny, like he's sharing with us the story of saving all these people. Like, who's to say that perhaps like it would be a crazy thing if there was an entire another story of Monogatari of Araragi like saving somebody, you know, some like other character or whatever, and we just didn't know about it. Like that would be a really crazy thing to see, as opposed to him telling us all about this stuff. So like it almost feels like you could use the fact that it's not meant to be noticed as a way to like love isn't meant to be noticed from Shinobu. You can try to like bottle that up and parallel that to Araragi, where we're always seeing him try to save people, try to do all that, like his heroic or like mock heroics or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I mean, I most specifically think of him showing up and saving Hanakawa with a sword, and he's got like his blowing cape, and I know that's from Hanakawa's perspective, but the guy still showed up, and that's what like it's like there's such a focus on how he's like, because it could be a thing of like I'm insecure about myself, let me freaking find like let me be affirmed through other people thinking that I'm saving them or whatever. Like that could be a small degree of it as well. But yeah, I'm ignoring the second half. Clocks are a metaphor for Shinobu's age, perhaps. I think that could be fair. Clocks can be so many things in this freaking show. It is kind of a crazy thing to remember that she's like 5 million years old, but even if she's like eating donuts and being a little goof, you know? For me, it ties into the torch with the inside of torch thing, like when you compared Hanakawa to the chocolate donut with the white cream. Yeah. Yeah, and I Hanakawa donut time, yeah. This symbology cipher, well, like, there's like different, like what I would say was going on, my best kind of guess, and I could go back through and freaking pour through a bunch of comments and maybe shine the thought a lot more, but what I would kind of say now is that the shrine is where the like, I don't know what to call it, deification or idolization or whatever of things occur, you know? And so there's the question of, okay, what is the thing that's like almost like where you decide your like moral framework, or where you decide some like thing, like some guiding light, some like big god, like God, right? Like it's literally the place for the God to be decided, right? And so it was Nadeko, right, which is kind of like the victim mindset kind of deal if we want to like try to go into the meta narrative or whatever. And I think that's like kind of the point. It's like, okay, Araragi's like, yeah, it's crazy because Araragi's not even really the one that like puts Nadeko up there, but through not putting anyone up there and kind of not doing anything, Nadeko becomes the one that is God. And then like that's like, I almost want to say that that's like a abstract way to, or not, I don't know if abstract's the right word, but like an analogy for the way that Araragi's approaching life, where it's like he considers himself a victim while Nadeko's up on the throne, because Nadeko's up on the throne, and that is what it is to be victim. So it's like the shrine is what represents how Araragi's guiding his life, or like what he cares, like, you know, that kind of thing. So for the victim mindset Sengoku, then that falls apart. The idea of like maybe Shinobu should go up there. But like, what would happen if we had Shinobu be God? You know, like if we wanted to say that it's like an analogy for whatever Araragi's like, how Araragi's navigating life, or whatever, you know, whatever road he's taking, if you want to throw it there, then like, what would Shinobu, like, what would that do to if Shinobu was up there? I'd just be worried that he would die, right? That it would basically be like, yeah, but I don't think that would be like it'd be like the suicide part would shine through or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just because I know only reason I bring like Shinobu up is because that's what Gon was thinking. Or I think that's what Gon was thinking. Maybe Gon was playing 7-layer deep mind games, because that's what Gon does. This was an interesting thing to me as well, of like, the polar snake is nonsense because snakes are cold-blooded. So if you had a ice snake, then it would be self-defeating, so it's like impossible. It almost, that thought there made me think like, what if the shrine itself is the Araragi shrine? It's like an oddity, you know, that, because like, I mean, the shrine is where all this stuff keeps happening, right? Like, and we've said before the idea of like, oh, Araragi's problems is what then caused him to like meet up with Shinobu or meet up with Kishao, right? And so, what if we were to say that the shrine itself is an oddity that Araragi like somehow is like created or connected to? I don't know. That feels cool. I feel like there's connections we can try to make there, you know, between Araragi and the shrine. And so if it's a more literal thing where, yeah, that would be cool. I would like that. I would like that. Like he was like freaking 4 years or like 7 years old, and he goes up on this mountain and has a panic attack, and then boom, a shrine gets born. I don't freaking know, but something like that could be cool. This episode can be more or less summed up by Shinobu's "It's always darkest under the candlestick." That's such a crazy line, and I love that line so much. The thing I would say with that is like, I mean, literally, this is kind of that with the streetlights, where in the novel, he met Kiss Shot under a streetlight, which is like, she is the epitome of darkness. She's the king of oddities. So for her to be seen under a light, I mean, it's literally darkest under the streetlight in that sense, as opposed to the candlestick. So I mean, that's like a one-to-one connection we can try to make, which I like a lot. I would almost consider like Shinobu hiding her love in the donut as being dark under the candlestick, because at the end of the day, it is coming from an oddity, you know? And, I mean, a part of me thinks, like, what if we, like, I don't know, what if the end game is, like, we gotta get rid of Shinobu or something, right? Because Shinobu was kind of the start, and not the start, but Shinobu, like, kicked off the events with Kizu, you know? So, as long as Shinobu's around, maybe, I don't know, maybe, do we need to, like, cut Shinobu off? I'm just thinking, we lost Hachikuji, right? So, like, what if we just do the same thing to Shinobu as, like, a necessity for what we gotta do? Man, I gotta rewatch Hana to see what he said about Shinobu and Hana. I'm not gonna do that right this second, but that's something to think about. These different quotes are pretty interesting. Hole in the center makes the heat circulate. I have literally no idea what that refers to. I'm gonna just be straight with you. I mean, the only thing I could say is, like, the circulation of heat being, like, an analogy for, like, the Ouroboros cycle. And so somehow the whole aspect is, like, you gotta punch a hole in it, and then it becomes an infinite loop, because otherwise it would just be a plane. But it's like, I don't know what hole are we punching? What does that mean? You know what I mean? Poison tester is, like, true. I mean, poison tester for the poison of love, bro. The poison of love. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep going. Set the experiment to suit your needs. I mean, that just sounds like Araragi and Ogi. That makes me think of Ogi right away. With, like, the things I've said before about Ogi being, like, a possibility of, like set up the pieces so that you can make, or so that, like, it's almost like make a domino game, and then you knock the freaking domino pieces over, and then, but you're also the one that stops all the pieces from getting knocked over. Like, you create a problem to solve it, kind of thing. It's kind of, and that's something I've tried to apply to Ogi before. Like, Ogi is freaking Araragi, like, creates problems through Ogi, subconsciously or not, that then Araragi himself solves to establish his own self-worth or whatever, because he's that insecure. So, I mean, that'd be kind of similar to set up an experiment to suit your needs. This is, I think, really crazy. This actually, I would say, is really important. Probably the most important thing in the episode, I would guess. With the donut was split in two from the beginning, which made it easy to hide stuff inside. I mean, it's like cognitive dissonance. Like, and we talked about it before, with, like, Araragi's different, like, Nisei, bro. Like, Araragi's monster self, human self conceptualizations seen through Karen and Tsukihi. If you want to, like, spin that down, I mean, that's, like, the donut was split in two. I mean, that's, like, literally what he's doing. He's splitting himself in two. And then I was reading some, like, other comments from other episodes. I literally had it highlighted. I lost. Oh, yeah, doing the same thing to Shinobu as well in Kabuki. where that same thing of like splitting someone apart, blah blah blah. The thing of like, because it's like, and it reminds me of what Ogi said, because Ogi literally said when two unrelated things come into conflict, like that's where the things go crazy, that's where things go awry. So it's like the two, like, and for her it was the shrine and the mountain, you know. So I almost want to say like we're splitting into two, and then stuff is hidden inside the cream filling of the donut, and then as we press the sides together, the cream filling goes and splurts out and makes a mess. That's the analogy. You get what I mean? So like, you know, human self, monster self, the way the freaking mental gymnastics I'm doing, the cognitive dissonance of fracturing my own being into parts, and then an attempt to bring those together will forcefully squish whatever nonsense I have already in the middle, aka like Ogi or whatever the hidden stuff is, aka whatever happens before Kizu, you know. But it's like all that hidden junky junk, and the thing is, it's not like this. I wouldn't even say that the split is what causes. It's not like splitting a donut in half causes cream filling to appear, you know. It just gives you a place to put the cream filling, right? So conceptualizing yourself in different ways, or like in a split way, and like considering yourself like a fractured being or whatever, like boom, but like you could just put it back together, right? The problem is if you start to use that as a way to like do other mental gymnastics, other rationalizations, other nonsense, which Araragi literally does all the time, and then you try to put it back together and no longer do the pieces fit because you started doing a bunch of stuff in between them, you know. That's crazy to me, and I like that a lot. Yeah. Freaking Araragi. Because I feel like he does a massive amount of, like, mental gymnastics, you know? I feel like it's a show. Like, the show is his mental gymnastics playing out, you know what I mean? Like, it's an acrobatics show. It's not a freaking comedy or whatever you want to call it. Whatever genre you would even... What genre would you even call this show? There's a gunk on my monitor, bro. What would you even call this show? Like... comedy... Psychological comedy? I guess that'd be my best guess. It's like a psychological comedy. But yeah. And then the line of blindfolding me what Shinobu's doing. The funny thing is, I like rewatched the episode a little bit just a second ago, and like the Fuller quote, isn't the Fuller quote like blindfolding me with the leggings, putting the leggings in my mouth was Shinobu's doing, like something like that. It's just funny that the putting them in my mouth was cut out here. I just find that funny. But yeah, the blindfolding part, like, well, the way that it's said. Because he's saying it to Hanakawa when Hanakawa's accusing him of being perverted, right? And so it makes me think that it's him coping, that like in reality he's the one that blindfolded himself, but he just used Shinobu's leggings as a way to do so, right? And so him saying that it's actually Shinobu's fault is him, I don't know, victim mentality, you know, saying like, oh, I'm just at the whims of Shinobu's leggings, as opposed to actually taking responsibility for blindfolding himself. Because that's just the way it's kind of was presented, where it's like he's like being all accused of being perverted, so he's saying like no, it wasn't me, but like in reality, like you can infer it was him, and he's just trying to save face. Like that's kind of how the scene felt to me. But also, wasn't Shinobu the one that said we should play hide and go seek? In which case, that would require him to be blindfolded. So it was kind of Shinobu's doing after all, you know. So yeah, I mean, putting them in his mouth, that was definitely Araragi. I'm not putting that on Shinobu no shot, but requiring Araragi to be blindfolded, which is a crazy connection to like the Taurus line of like, so long as you walk with your eyes closed, whether Pathumeion isn't functioning as one, it's just the ground. That's like Araragi. I mean, being blindfolded is the same as walking with your eyes closed, right? So he's yeah. Like it's that, I mean, that's a crazy thing where it's like if you're not, like a road is where you're going, and so if you're not saying that you're going anywhere, it's like, bro, he's literally, Araragi is trying to be a hot air balloon. Where's Koyomi hot air balloon? Where he's literally just and he's up in the sky just like floating around to wherever the winds take him, right? He's just wind current. That's what he like thinks is happening, right? Which is the same as just like he's going up there. And he's like, all right, take me wherever you take me, world. That's the deal, right? I feel like to some degree he's doing that. So, yeah, where that's very different from choosing a path and walking upon it, where it's like you're actually making a decision and like having some accountability for your decisions. So that's why I feel like the blindfolded eyes closed thing is. It's like, well, you're not taking responsibility. You're not actually, you're just kind of walking around doing your thing. So the blindfold, it's like, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'd say the blindfolding is. The thing is that it's just like, is it Shinobu's fault? Is it Araragi's attachment to Shinobu? Did Shinobu do this to him, or did he use Shinobu to do this to himself? Right? Did he blindfold himself with Shinobu, or did Shinobu blindfold him? That's the thing there. Because I want to say that he did it to himself, but is kind of saying that Shinobu did it to like absolve himself of the responsibility. That's kind of what I want to say. But yeah. Note the attention drawn to Araragi's poor performance when confronting Sengoku. I'll probably rewatch that scene specifically. The donut clock obviously means it's time for donuts, which are ring-shaped objects bad for your health. A circle, a cycle, and Ouroboros. When Shinobu initially chose a sustenance so she wouldn't have to take Araragi's blood. It's just like, okay. Yes, like that's the like donuts are bad for your health, I guess, but like, does that matter? I don't know if that I can see that connection. That's kind of the thing. Well, I guess you could say like, what does like Ouroboros? Well, what if we can try to like use the Ouroboros, like the infinite cycle that repeats itself on the road, where it's like you're not willing to accept that the road will come to an end or whatever. Because I mean, none of our roads have been a roundabout, right? None of our roads have been a circle that we've been described from any of our characters. Maybe that's the road Araragi thinks he's on, a circle. Yeah. That would be crazy to me. He's just walking around in a circle with his eyes closed. That's Araragi's road. Yeah, because I don't think anybody said anything about like an infinite loop. Yeah, I mean, even Konbaru Strip says like there's an escape out, which would be like the opposite of infinite loop, right? So, I would almost want to say that like the self-repeating cycle is bad for your health, something. And I mean, that's like immortality, right? Ouroboros, infinite cycle, vampires immortal, boom, boom, boom. So for Shinobu to be eating something that represents like an infinite cycle as an infinitely living vampire does make sense. It just, I don't know where to take it, right? I don't know where to take the idea, really. Clock's a reference to the Araragi's time limit given by Sengoku. That's very true as well. How strange of you to say 80% meme, 20% meaning at this point? Who said it can't be mean and meaningful at the same time? That's incredibly true, yeah. And that's kind of what I meant of like, where like they're hiding some semblance of meaning. They're hiding this 20% of golden meaning within like 80% of just a bunch of nonsense, right? And nonsense I say very affectionately, like a bunch of like meme, let's just say. But no, yeah, it's both. It is both. That's kind of the point. Trying to say 80-20, perhaps, maybe, I don't even know if you could say 50-50, or if we just merge the words meme and meaning together. I think that's kind of what you're saying, of like, we don't even have to distinguish between meaning and meaning. Let's just make it one and the same. I'm down with that. Shinobu likes donuts. Donuts are a torus. Infinite loop. Boom, boom, boom. That's, what I was trying to just say. Yeah, right here. That's where I was getting the idea from. There it is. Immortal, I don't know if it's them fully accepting a relationship as immortal vampires together. I would probably not say that, but this one is on crack. Maybe a little bit of crack. I mean, that's what Shinobu wanted in freaking Kabuki, right? Of like, oh, we're immortal vampires together, you know. And the Taurus trust thing I already talked about. Talked about this. Ogi God, Mr. Donut Shinobu branch. Dang, bro, I want donuts. Actually, so true. I'm so hungry for a good donut right now. But yeah, let me pull up the episode. What I'm going to go to is I want to hear Shinobu saying that he fumbled the bag. Wait, Sanjugahara made me these donuts, and we poison tested the donuts Sanjugahara made. And Sanjugahara loves Araragi. Is this like he's somewhat scared about the love from Sanjugahara also getting twisted, so we have to poison test it? But I mean, Shinobu's the one that talks about he was just gonna chow. I don't know. Maybe there's a worry with Sanjugahara somewhere in there. I don't know. I feel like Sanjugahara is like interesting that like as much as she is in the story. Like, I don't know, she's just kind of like doing her thing. Like, it would be a crazy thing if there's been a bunch of stuff going on with her that he just hasn't told us about that actually comes up and is important and like is a problem. That would be crazy. And that would be almost like the light under the candlestick thing, where Senjugahara is so like, she's just like, fine, like, we're just doing her, like, I'm not seeing any explosive crazy problems with Senjugahara, you know. Like, with her relationship with Araragi most specifically seems to be pretty, like, they're just goody good, you know. So if this is like some sort of like 7-layer deep Araragi worry about that and about her love for him, especially coming off of Sengoku's love for him being such a problem, then that could be an interesting like foreshadowing. But yeah, the freaking Agni Kai, so funny to me. Don't act like my attendant. True. Where's, okay, yeah. Let me listen to some of this again. This freaking background music is so goofy. Wait, so what did you say? Like, okay. Never letting go of that stubborn attitude, persistently repeating hand it over. Isn't that why they what with the talisman? Oh no, that's why it was stolen. Okay, yeah. Wait, let me just give me more context. I'm just gonna watch this scene in full. So, okay, this is our transition into talking about Sengoku. Yeah, okay. This is fair. Because he was just like, give me it, Sengoku, give me it. But I don't want to be told that by you, he thinks. That's fine. Why do I need negotiation skills to keep you in check each and every time you want to eat donuts? I'm just trying to think, is there some sort of crazy freaking analogy for like, oh, Sengoku, or oh, Shinobu eats a donut and this means something crazy, and so for him to negotiate her out of eating a donut is like him negotiating her out of like immortality, or I don't freaking, you know. Before negotiation, hone your sense of secrecy. Secrecy, lying. I feel like Ogi would get mad at that. Well, no, but Ogi is a little secret rat. I'm worried about the secrecy, man. I feel like there's a lot of self-secrecy going on. You wouldn't have to do any negotiating. Like I almost want to say that, like, Araragi, like, because I do think that to some level that Ogi and like that Ogi might know whatever Araragi knows. Like, that's something I've had in the back of my head for a while. So like, could you even keep that secret? Because Ogi knew about the talisman, I would assume. I can kind of assume, which then led to the whole Sengoku thing because Ogi was the one that got that ball rolling. The talisman hidden in that easy to find hiding space can be said to mark the beginning of this tragedy. I mean, and that's fair. Hide it better is fair. Dang! Your own foolishness brought about our unfortunate circumstances. Wait, that's true! She's straight up saying, this is your fault, dog. Araragi changed the subject? Wow. He says, okay, then what would you do? And then she proves to him that she can do it. Wait, let me hear that again. Your own failure brought about these unfortunate circumstances, or something. Your own foolishness is what brought about our unfortunate circumstances. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's true. It reminds me of what Ogi said about like future-proofing the shrine, right? Where that's what like Ogi's like, oh, it's a very tentative balance that Oshino struck here. That's like I would want this more future-proof towards. I mean, it's almost similar of like Shinobu saying like, yo, our circumstances are so bad because guess what? Like, you didn't future-proof it all. Like, you literally hit it in a horrible spot, which was your own foolishness, you know? As opposed to being more prepared. And he's like avoidant for his future, bro. Freaking self-aversion for your own future. Wild. Okay. I'm glad I looked at that again. I feel like Shinobu straight up confronting him on his own failure like that, and then for him to be like, and then it's like, oh, now we're gonna use some sort of, now we're gonna play this little game because this is Shinobu proving to him of like, yeah, I can actually hide things, like blah blah blah. But the funny thing is she, I think, intentionally fails the job because she wants him to actually eat all the donuts, you know. So it kind of turns into something else. But yeah, I don't know. It's like we had an opportunity of confrontation, but then we like tangented to something else. It's also funny where he's like, Adaragi kind of almost accuses her of like, I don't feel like I would have to use my, why do I need my negotiation skills to keep you in check, you know? Which is like, why do I have to argue with you kind of thing? To which case she gives him all the donuts and then even puts her love in the form of the trust donut with trust Taurus, if that has like a, you know, word connection or whatever. I'm gonna just believe that. So I don't know. It's almost like, why do I need to negotiate with you all the time? And then she just gives him everything, and then also gives him her love, but also saves face. That's just a really sweet like reply. It almost feels like the donut game is like a reply to him, like being like, why would I need to do this to you to keep you in check? And also the whole like, this is your own failure thing. So she's like proving a point, and also she's proving 2 points, right? Proving that that he doesn't really need to negotiate, that there is that level of trust and love between them. Like, it's a message there, but then it's also a message of like you need to like learn how to hide things better. Like, there is your own fault in how you prepare for things, you know? You are unprepared, and that is you to blame, kind of deal. That's crazy, yeah. Freaking Cowboy Hanakawa put the donut in the donut. Hanakawa's too smart. Analyze the donut. Who's in there, bro? Who's it? But that means the donut had to be hollowed to have enough room. What, do you have to hollow out the donut so there's room for the second donut? It's almost like they're hollowed out conceptions of yourself that aren't actually real to your true self, bro. Okay, let's just jump into the next one. Okay, yeah, let's jump into the next one. Episode 10. I think I want to just go watch another episode, I think. This is a nice little 13-minuter. We actually get to watch an OP this time, right? Because it was only 8 and 9 that had omitted. So that's very exciting. And then 11 and 12 we'll watch together next time. So yeah, let's just jump into episode 10. Should be exciting. Let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb so I stop getting notifications. Holy crap. Thank you. All right, episode 10. I got a lemon lime sparkling ice. Get yourself a drink. Get yourself a snack. Let me take a sip. This is like a Sprite, but a little more like, but with even more emphasis on like the lime and the lemon, as opposed to like the sugar. Interesting. Episode 10. Let's get going in a 3, a 2, a 1. Bang. Da 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 da. I forgot the chapter 1. Cancel that. Cancel. Wait, I have to watch it and read the chapter 1. I got it. I'm sorry. I completely forgot. Chapter 1. I'm pulling it up. I forgot her. No, okay. 10. Okay. Good. Koyomi seed. We got it. Oh, wow. I'm going to have to read the 10 and the 11. Or the 11 and the 12 on next time. Okay. Koyomi seed. Who is it going to be? Oh, it's freaking you. Well, I forget your name so often. I know your face. Your little, oh my goodness, I actually forgot her name. It's real this time. What is happening? Wait, am I gonna have to cut so I can remember her name? Sengoku, Ononoki! Dang, dude. I'm sorry, Ononoki. That one was my fault. I'll take that one. That one was my fault, Ononoki. Okay. Seed. Ononoki seed. Okay. January 1st. New Year's. How long is it on? 2.5. I wonder if Yotsuki Ononoki even makes a distinction between roads and everything else. I consistently have my doubts. She's bound by neither the forces of gravity, nor buoyancy, nor lift. The creatures known as human beings, who are always bustling around her, generally propel themselves by alternately moving one leg and then the other. And I can't help but think that Yotsuki Ononoki is simply emulating them when she does so herself. At present, the human race just so happens to have adopted preambulation as its primary form of locomotion, and she's just imitating them. No deeper meaning or consideration involved. If, for existence, crawling were to become the latest trend in human propulsion, Yotsuki Ononoki would probably start crawling around without a second thought. According with reason, holds no meaning for her. It's adapting to reality that's much more meaningful. Okay. I like that distinction between adapting to reason and to reality. That's kind of fun. And that adaptation to reality is itself an absolutely goal-oriented way of life for a Shikigami like Yotsuki Ononoki. Then again, since she's an aberration who doesn't possess a life force and can't be said to have a way of life in the first place, and is in fact relentlessly pursuing a goal she can never achieve, maybe it's more like a meaningless way of punishing herself. Projection? Oh, maybe. For me, the safest way to travel isn't walking around the ground or soaring through the sky. It's probably burrowing through the earth sometime or other. Oh, she's a mole. When I was being taken along on a high-altitude trip fueled by her unlimited rulebook, it's really up to the observer whether to consider that mode of travel jumping or flying. She suddenly started explaining this to me. In a monotone that sounded like a failed impersonation, lacking intonation, or even context. Tunneling through the earth like a mole, I think that's probably the safest way for me to travel. Unless she was just making a groundless joke about being underground versus going underground, I couldn't even guess at what she was trying to say. Literally me. Safe. Sure, being underground is probably safe, especially for someone like her, someone for whom battle is inevitable, and an indispensable safety might well be found there. There, beneath the earth. She might find a safety that the surface doesn't afford her. After all, in the kind of hermetically sealed environment, there's no fear of a surprise attack, even from above. Given the lack of obstructions in the sky, aerial movement naturally allows for the greatest velocity, but a lack of obstructions also means a lack of potential cover. Which is why Yotsuki Ononoki said that subterranean travel was the safest, or so I thought. But she just quietly shook her head at my interpretation, shook her head expressionlessly, and said in a monotone, "No, it's because there are no people around. No people around. There was no one for her to imitate, hence no one to be influenced by. It was the one place she could really be herself." Whoa! That's wild. I mean, it reminds me of, oddities influenced by people is something we've heard multiple times with, Tsukihi, it feels like influenced by other people. Maybe that's part of why she's in the sky, right, with her flying around. That's, a similar concept, but she's less aware of, the reality of being influenced by others. For Ononoki, that's, so much more a part of her character. That's, up in her own face and up in mindset and how, Araragi looks at her. But that could even be a thing. And then we've heard it with Shinobu before too. One place to really be yourself. Huh. So it's crazy because I just almost want to immediately say that I just think back to Kizu Araragi and just the whenever the story's going on, we never see people in the background, And Kizu Araragi was all lone wolfing it, so I wonder if he was thinking that he could only that was how he was being himself or whatever, being true to himself in big old air quotes, was because he had no one to be influenced by. So that's the truest representation of him. But then that failed, right? That fell apart. It's an interesting idea of you can only be yourself if you're not being influenced by others. That's to a degree I would agree, because if you're acquiescing to what other people tell you to do, then that's not really you making those choices. But I would also disagree a lot in that I think that somebody couldn't fully be themselves. I think there's so much of the self to be in the presence of others. For example, peer pressure, if you're someone that will fall to peer pressure or not, that's a part of who you are, right? But the only way you could know that is if you are subject to it, aka it attempted to be influenced by someone else. Your ability to be influenced by other people is a part of who you are, and that's not something that you can explore or be aware of if you're by yourself, right? It's the same thing with a bunch of principles, kindness or I don't know, vulnerability, intimacy, all these things are things that you can't explore in a vacuum. You can't explore that by yourself. So I would say there's a lot of self to be found in being influenced by others. Though the specific way that they're like kind of using influence, especially with like the like adapting to reality and like the like the more literal reality for oddities that they actually get like impressed on like very easily. That, you know, obviously is like saying something kind of else, but yeah. Huh. Burrowing through the ground. I mean, I'm just imagining her going in like, pew, unlimited rulebook. Pew, unlimited rulebook. You know, freaking Ononoki. Only Ononoki would be a mole. What a mole. Yeah. I'm not really sure where else to take it though. It's weird because it's like you're avoiding going on a road. Like, I mean, it would almost say like roads are, like, I guess you could maybe say something interesting of like kind of to Ogi, right? To Ogi's one of like building a road. Like the construction project of the road is like what makes it a road. But the thing with like building a road is that like if you were to build a road, it's not only for yourself necessarily. Like building a road and then walking on it, like the road's still there for somebody else to travel. You know, like it goes beyond you, right? So that's different. That's very distinct from Ononoki here, where she's like kind of carving her own path, but it's not in a way that like is easily followed, right? Like burrowing through the ground is not something that other people can like also join her in, you know, because I don't think she's necessarily leaving like tunnels, like the earth will collapse behind her. She's not taking any care to like making that stable, right? So in so much as like Ogi is like, yeah, I'm gonna build a road and then I could travel on it and then other people could travel on it perhaps, you know, that I feel like that's an implication there. Or like a lot of the other characters of like, oh, I'm just gonna travel a road that's already been kind of built. Ononoki is saying like, I'm not gonna build a road because it's like I'm going to travel myself. Like, I'm going to make my own choice in traveling, but I'm not going to build a road that other people can follow. I'm not going to even do anything with other people. I'm just going to burrow into the ground and make my own path that's different from a road. So like the very undergroundness of the story, or like the very act of tunneling, I think even is to say a lot of like the individual aspect of it, as opposed to like, I don't know, a mine shaft. Like if we were saying like, oh, Ononoki builds mine shafts and she goes through her little tunnels that she like puts the support beams and all that stuff. Like that would be very distinct because it's like, oh, well, other people could use that if they knew about it. But this is just straight up digging through the ground like a mole. So yeah, that's what I would say on that. Huh, okay. Now let's jump into episode 10. Okay, restart the 7 seconds. Alright. Episode 10 of Koyomimonogatari. Onto this one. Let's get going in a 3, a 2, a 1. Bam! I can't believe I almost forgot to read that chapter, bro. This is a pretty fire OP, honestly. Like, stylistically, I like it a lot. Did I ever say that her paper doll thing, it's like when there's the 3 of her there, that's like, looks like a paper doll cutout, where you'd have the cutout of like all the different, like the 3, like all the paper dolls connected. Yeah, like that. Did I ever say that before? I don't remember. That's why there's like multiple of her. Like the when they hold hands, you know, it's like, yay, and you unfold it. I also love the subtitles in this one, where they like spin around and do all sorts of nonsense. What I want for the future. Wee! Holy! Oh, it's horrible. Oh, it kills me. What is that? Let's go to bed? And to hell with making sense? Holy, it's a roller coaster. Let's go to bed and to hell with making sense. Interesting. Bro, hey. My heart pounds in dusk as the stars twinkle above. Alright, Ononoki, what you got for me? Koyomi seed. Month. Affection? Is that what that said? Oh my goodness. I assume this is after... Well... Hitagi End was like right around this time. I think it was a little before this, because it was like approaching New Year. I don't remember if they crossed New Year during it or not. if I'm remembering correctly. Yay, yay. Whoa, National Test Center. Walking home after dropping off Senjo. You're done? Wait, you took your test? No more? We're good? Is that the last one you needed? Like, is that what we were studying for? That would be crazy. Hey, good hit, good hit. Oh, he did bad. Dang, okay, he has another test, he can make it up, I guess. That's what I'm saying. Not that part. The text. That was funny. Yeah. What do you even want help with? You just want to hang out? Does she just want to hang out? Oh, that looks delightful. Expanding my field of view. Those cuts to traffic stuff was scary. Hmm. What, you want to just piggyback, like get it on his shoulders, kind of thing? Dang. Hmm. Yes, our parts together. That's what I'm saying. But are you doing this just for fun, Ononoki? Or what are we looking for? Just you'll know it when you see it? What? What do you mean? Oh, we jump around? Oh, oh, we're doing the thing that she does. Okay, I get it now. That's cute. That's funny. Yay, Aragi! Dang, she got crazy finger balance. Yeah, you're not gonna get it. Why is she making squeaky sounds like that, bro? Dang. That caused him a little bit of a. Wait. Am I stupid? What's going on? Okay, my timeline was wrong in my head. I think my timeline was wrong in my head. I think we got it though. Where we're still worried about where like Sengoku still is a threat. Oh, because Araragi didn't even know about a lot of what was going on with that getting solved. Yeah, so I guess it hasn't been fixed yet. Okay. Whoa, it's that illusion. I've seen that illusion before. It's going the other way. What? Oh, what is it? What is it? What is it? Excuse me? A bird? Oh, a smile? I don't get it. I don't get it. So now we're post Chidatsu. Oh, she had a hot spring. Okay. Yep, that's true. I forgot about that, honestly. Oh, she chillin'. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, she's putting clay on her hands. Clay mask. Can't find that which doesn't exist. Yes, yes, yes. That's what I was saying. She was just capping, bro. What? Huh? She was trying to find you, bro. Is that it? Conspicuous. Oh. Just to make you look. What? Yeah. Excuse me? Talk about Kaiki? She intentionally made you. Yeah, okay, Kaiki, right? Okay, she was parading him around so that he wouldn't note. Okay, I see. Huh. I was made easy to find. She chillin'. That's Karen and Tsukiji chillin'. No tale to tell. Aw, she made sure there wasn't a story. It is quite the saying. Oh, say it, Hanakawa! Dude, she's so smart. Nonchalant consideration. Bro! Aw, that's so sweet, actually. Making sure that he didn't get attacked by the con man by making him obvious. Or, like, avoiding a confrontation, you know? Bro, she just, like, actually just denied the Yoshido saying like that. She said, in actuality, it's different. I mean, real. Like I think there's truth in both, right? But neither is just the end-all, be-all. But, like, I mean, she's kind of right. I love Hanakawa, man. Anytime. Actually enlightened person. I gotta rewatch this, by the way. I'm gonna rewatch, like, part of this right now, like, halfway through. Because, man, I just, because when she said, Sengoku, or, Ononoki said, like, you only have a few months left to live, that's referring to Sengoku, right? Or was that, I thought that was dealt with at the time, but I guess, no, it wasn't dealt with, because this was, yeah, I got it now. It was right when that was getting dealt with by Kaiki. That's because he was in the town, and that's why Araragi was being made obvious. But yeah, so it wasn't dealt with. He thought he was going to die. Ononoki makes him obvious so that Kaiki can do his job correctly, which is kind of just deceiving Araragi and tricking him so that he gets out of the way. Because he's a liability, you know? Which is pretty crazy for him to accept, I'd say, probably. But, and that's why he thought he was gonna die. Because, yeah, that line was thrown out, and in my head I was like, I thought we solved that one, you know? Because I thought we were post the point of that was solved, and, like, they had already, Kaiki and Araragi had already met. But no, it was before that, and then after that, afterwards. Yeah! So, yeah. Basically, Pog. That's what happens when I don't remember exactly the freaking January 1st time date. I get hoed. That's my fault. That's my fault for hating dates. But yeah, so it was like right around... Okay. Yeah, like this area. I want to just rewatch this chunk again because I was distracted. As soon as she said that, which ends first, your life or your exams, I was like, what do you... Huh? I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean your life's gonna end? Yeah, so we're good. The exams themselves end first, but the results come out way later. And using up a lot of the vampire powers was going to Sengoku. A useless defeat. True, that's what it was. Dang, Ononoki kind of a real one right now. She literally is, like, talking it through and trying to convince the guy to, like, stop. Like, dude, this is a useless defeat. Like, kind of, what are you doing? He says it's not useless. And she's like, bruh. She hits him with the clockwork, like, okay, dude. And then she's parading him around just so he gets out of the way so the situation resolves itself, you know? The tale of how there was no tail because she stopped the tail from even being born. She destroyed the seed before it could hatch. The seed of conflict. I've sown these seeds. I will do something. Aragi, that's an interesting idea there. I've sown these seeds, I will do something. I mean, that's like straight up, he's trying to take responsibility. If you were really the one to have sown these seeds, then you certainly should. However, don't you think it's rather strange? How lately, as though someone were seeking balance, okay. Everything around you specifically is in chaos. Real. It's true that once you get... Bro, wait, this is crazy. But it's almost like that... Like, even that fact itself is being balanced. I doubt even you are dense enough to not think it unnatural, Devil Boy. She's really saying, oh, like, you want to talk about, like actually dealing with the seeds you've sown, then, like, let's point out, like, how crazy it is about the amount of nonsense that's happening around you. Like, what about, you think that's a seed? Maybe we should think about that, like, on a bigger structure. Like, who's planting the seeds? Why are there so many seeds getting sown? Like, isn't that kind of weird? Good point, Ononoki, good point. I am dense. I'm always completely overwhelmed just trying to fix a situation. Dang. A deception, bro. An illusion. Her even having him here is an illusion, so they hit us with the freaking spinning lady thing. Ugh, I'm like trying to flip it around my head. Something that anyone could tell once they see it. But once you start looking for it, you lose sight of it. A smile? I do not get that at all. What do you mean once you start looking for it, you lose sight of it? If I look for a smile, I'm gonna find a smile. I'm smiling. I'm looking at my own little I'm smiling. It's found. I think it's just her being cute. What's up with the wing? What's up with the wing? Whose wing is that? Why did an entire, like, dove? Why did an entire dove, like, say hello? Why is there a giant squacky duck? There's an entire squacky duck in the pool, man. In the, a squeeze quacky duck. There's a squeezing quacky duck in the lake. Wow, this is some beautiful shots. Look at this. Ooh. The red haze over the snow city. I love that. Wait, I love this. Why do I love this atmosphere so much? Huh. I like the pinkish kind of like the crimson snow. I like crimson snow, the crimson colored snow like that. That's really cool. It's funny, like, because the point was to not obtain any results because you were the result. Dude, you were the problem, Araragi. Instead of Araragi fixing the problem, Araragi was the problem and Ononoki fixed it. That's crazy. That's wild. And then now we've cut way to the future and we're talking about what happened. Yeah, and now Ononoki's living there. Hanakawa's adorable. I love Hanakawa. I love Hanakawa. I love Hanakawa. I love Hanakawa. It's brutal. I was literally saying that the entire episode, and then as soon as Araragi brings it up, Hanakawa immediately gets rid of the idea. Dang it, Hanakawa. My heart. Let me feel clever. Let me feel... Oh, dude, she's at the, like, Machu Picchu. What's this thing called? I know this place. That's cool. Yeah. You were the thing meant to be found. For Kaiki's sake. Even though you did run into him at the end, but at that point it was an okay time to run into it. Wouldn't it have been strange if you both crossed paths at some point? So most likely at a point where that was likely to happen, Ononoki was there to stop you. I wonder if there was a plan to have Kaiki and Araragi meet before it getting fixed to make it all fall apart, but Ononoki was like the band-aid that fixed that, you know? Like, not even where they were likely to meet, but where like something was going to make them meet, like Oi or something, right? That like because a bunch of stuff around Araragi's in chaos, so that chaos would have invited Kaiki to meet him in whatever way. But that's why Ononoki was here to clutch it out. That like it's more than a coincidence kind of deal. That's a good shot of Araragi there. I like that shot. By tricking you into like thinking you're like helping somebody, that's crazy. And then that's Karen. She didn't want to make you any more worried than you were at the time. Tsukihija. That's considerate. That's so sweet. I like that. Ononoki. Okay, Ononoki. I'm starting to feel it. Or maybe I'm just lying to you. Maybe I actually do hate Ononoki. Whoa. Someone's thoughtful consideration. And then say your crazy line. Please, Hanakawa. One more. Without noticing what was supporting my peaceful life. Yeah, that is funny. People can only be helped by themselves is quite the saying. But in actuality, it's impossible for people to live on their own. With that crazy track in the background. Wow. That is so beautiful. That actually is like, might be my, dude, this episode was so good actually. Like the way it kind of all came together. I think that's my favorite like epilogue of one of these episodes. I'd have to like look at all the episodes again to see if it's my favorite. Like that was really sweet. I just love Hanakawa. And like that statement on Oshino's thought process is really interesting. Because like I really like Oshino's thought process when it comes to like gaining like a self-confidence and like your own betterment, you know? But when it comes to actually like, well, I mean, straight up what Hanakawa, she says it really well, right? When it comes to the actuality of it, in actuality, she says, it's impossible for people to live on their own. Which is just incredibly true. You know, like no man's an island kind of thing. I mean, I wouldn't say impossible. I would just say not a good idea, right? But yeah, I mean, the whole no man's an island thing. And especially like to live on their own in a peaceful life, in like a good life or whatnot. I would say that's for most people very, very true. Yeah. I mean, there's like such a balance to be stricken between like individual and community, you know? And Hanakawa is just enlightened, so I love her. She's so good. I love this character. This piano track. I need this piano track saved. This piano track I really like. It's very like soft. Whoa! And Araragi's going on a little... Where's he going? Araragi, where are you going? Oh, are you going to see Ononoki? I think he's going over to see Ononoki now that he realizes how much she's done for him there. And so, yeah, he looks over at her in, like, Karen and Tsukihi's room. Dang! Okay, fine, Ononoki, you get that win. You get that win. That's pretty... I like that a lot. That's really sweet of you to do. Dang, dang, dang. This goofy happy track. Dang, I think is that all I really got for this one off the top though? Let me do a little final pass. Him doing poorly on the test makes me even think like again that like maybe he's not studying very much on his own and he's spending his time sleeping in and being, you know, not studying on his own. Which would be interesting. And he kind of gets admonished for that a little bit of like, what did she say here? You should just die if... I won't tell you to study, but you should just die. So she's saying like, well, you suck. Like, this is what you've been doing. You should die. This little gamified font was really funny as well. I appreciate the subtitle people for doing that on that one. Yeah. Because, I mean, we're constantly told about like, oh, he's going to go study, oh, blah, 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 blah. But then the test comes around and he fumbles it, you know. So, and he says what, like, I need a higher boost now? It's funny, he says higher boost and then he gets boosted up on her finger. So goofy. That car going by. Dude, the car goes by when they walk on the crosswalk? What does it mean? What does it mean? Does it mean something? What does it mean? What if it turned left and ran him over? It could have. I don't trust cars or traffic ever again. Ever again. No. But yeah, I think that's all I really got for this one. Really sweet episode. I love this Hanakawa conclusion. It was really sweet. Ononoki, you get this is a really good shot of Ononoki as well. I really like that shot of Ononoki. So you get that one, Ononoki. Ononoki lovers, one win. That's it. But yeah, that's all I got for this one. On to the next episode 11 and 12 of Koyomimonogatari is the plan. On to the next, should be exciting. Of course. If you like the video, subscribe. If you're new, blah, 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 comment below if you have anything to say, or join the Discord and talk to me or other Koyomimonogatari fans there. But until then, until the next episode, that's all I got. I'll be seeing you on to the next one. Should be exciting. I'll be seeing you then. Peace.